Beloved chosen one, stop scrolling and listen. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you because this message is not an accident, it's divine timing. You have reached the end of a long, silent night, but this is not the end of your story. It is the dawn of your rising. You've walked through years where your prayers felt unanswered, where your faith was tested, where your strength was stretched to its limits. Yet you are still standing. You are still believing. And that alone is proof that grace never left your side. You thought the waiting was punishment, but it was preparation. You thought the silence meant you were forgotten, but it meant heaven was working behind the scenes. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every lonely night, it was all shaping you into the vessel capable of carrying the reward that now approaches. The delay was divine design. You were not late. You were being aligned. Listen closely, chosen one. You have survived battles that no one saw, cried tears that no one counted, and carried burdens that no one understood. You have been misunderstood, rejected, and underestimated. But in that very rejection, you were redirected. What broke others only built you, what crushed others only crowned you in secret. Heaven hid you not to punish you, but to protect what was being developed inside you. And now this Christmas heaven whispers, you finally won. This is not a season of surviving anymore, it's a season of shining. This is the turning point. The same God who saw you in the ashes is about to clothe you in glory. Your reward is not delayed, it's delivered. What you prayed for in pain, you will soon hold in joy. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. That's not just a verse, it's your prophecy. You are not waiting for the light, you are the light. The shadows that followed you will flee. Because light doesn't negotiate with darkness, it commands it to leave. Every word spoken against you, every plot that tried to bury you, every season that tried to drain your faith, all of it collapses under the weight of divine favor. You must understand this heaven never wastes pain. Every disappointment was a disguised investment. Every delay was a divine calculation. What looked like a loss was simply God making room for a greater gain. This is why your heart still beats with purpose, because your mission is not finished. You are being rewarded not just for what you did, but for what you endured. This Christmas is not a coincidence, it's convergence. The spiritual and physical timelines have collided. Heaven is delivering promises that were signed long ago in the secret courts of God's faithfulness. The same angels that guarded you in wilderness seasons are now assigned to usher in your celebration. You are about to see evidence of promises you almost gave up on. Chosen one. Do you feel that stirring in your spirit right now? That is the sound of destiny awakening. It's the rumble of doors opening, the vibration of chains breaking, the song of joy returning. What once seemed far away is suddenly near. What once seemed impossible is now inevitable. So lift your head, wipe your tears. Heaven says, enough of the wilderness. You've wandered long enough. You've waited long enough. You've suffered long enough. The crown that was forged in fire is ready to rest upon your head. You are about to move from hidden to highlighted, from delayed to delivered, from overlooked to overcomer. This is your divine announcement. You have entered your winning season. No more fear. No more shrinking to fit rooms that could never contain your calling. You were born to stand out because you were never meant to blend in. The pain was the price, but the reward, it's eternal. Now, breathe. Let your shoulders relax. Let your soul remember who it belongs to. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are a vessel of glory. And as you step into this Christmas season, do it with holy confidence. Heaven is with you. The favor that was hidden is now visible. The tables have turned, and the story has shifted in your favor. The same God who watched you weep in private is about to honor you in public. The waiting room has become the delivery room. It's time to celebrate, not because the world says so, but because heaven decrees so. The light is upon you, chosen one, and this time, it won't fade. So as you finish reading this, take a deep breath and declare, my waiting was not wasted. Share this message so that another weary heart may find strength again. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay connected to the flow of these divine reminders. Heaven is not done speaking, and you are not done rising. And as a prophetic act, comment below the number 777, symbolizing divine completion and heavenly reward. You didn't just survive these hidden years, you were being sculpted by them. When everything seemed to stand still, heaven was actually working in motion. When it looked like nothing was happening, something sacred was being formed within you. These hidden years were not punishment, they were divine refinement. You were not buried. Chosen one, you were planted. You see, diamonds don't shine in open fields. They are formed in deep, pressured places. So it was with you. The rejection, the silence, the unanswered prayers, all were necessary ingredients in the recipe of your transformation. God had to conceal you before he could reveal you, because exposure without preparation destroys destiny. You were being trained in the unseen, tested in the dark, and trusted with pain that only chosen souls can carry. There were moments when you felt forgotten, like your prayers bounced off the ceiling. You watched others advance while you stayed still. You wondered if heaven had closed its doors to you. But heaven never stopped watching. Every tear you shed was noticed. Every time you chose faith over bitterness, a new line was written in your destiny. The wilderness didn't break you, it baptized you in endurance. The Word of God declares in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. That verse wasn't just written for ancient believers, it was written for you. You are the living proof that perseverance pays. The testing season didn't come to destroy you. It came to qualify you. Heaven never promotes without testing. And you, chosen one, passed tests no one else saw. Think about it, the nights you stayed faithful while your heart was breaking. The prayers you whispered while your hope was fading. The times you loved even when you were unloved. Those were not wasted moments. They were divine deposits, each one building a fortress of spiritual strength inside you. You learned to worship without the crowd. You learned to pray without the applause. You learned that your relationship with God was not about performance, it was about presence. The hidden years taught you what the public stage could never teach, that your worth was never based on visibility, but on obedience. Heaven was silent, but never absent. Silence is not absence, it is strategy. Just as a teacher stays quiet during a test, God remained still while your faith was being proven. And though you couldn't see it, his hand was writing your testimony line by line. Every closed door was divine timing, not divine denial. Every delay was a safeguard, not a setback. You were being refined in the fire so you could shine in the light. Gold is not gold until it's been melted, shaped, and purified. The same heat that could have destroyed you only revealed what was indestructible within you. You have been through too much to doubt your purpose now. The pain was real. But so was the promise. Chosen one, you are stepping out of the shadows with wisdom that only waiting can teach. You now understand that power without humility becomes pride. and blessings without preparation become burdens. That's why heaven didn't rush your process. You weren't ready then, but you are now. When you look back, you'll realize that every no protected you from premature exposure. Every delay positioned you closer to the right door. Every loss redirected you toward what truly mattered. The waiting didn't waste time, it purified your motives. You were never forgotten. You were hidden like a seed waiting for its appointed spring. And now, as the seasons shift, the soil that once buried you will testify that something divine was growing underground all along. Do not resent the hidden years, they were sacred. Without them, you would not carry the weight of this calling. The same people who overlooked you will one day say, "We always knew there was something different about them." But you will know it wasn't luck, it was divine orchestration. The years that felt empty were actually the years heaven filled you. You learned stillness, trust, surrender. You learned that silence can be the loudest proof of God's activity. You are the product of hidden miracles and silent victories. You were trained by the invisible so you could lead the visible. Now, as the light begins to rise, do not despise the dark anymore. It was your classroom. It taught you resilience, discernment, and depth. The hidden years shaped your character, strengthened your spirit, and purified your heart. And when heaven unveils you fully, the world will see a glory that no shortcut could have created. You were tested in private so you could be trusted in public. The hidden years were not wasted, they were woven into the masterpiece of your destiny. And now, chosen one, heaven opens its gates before you. Step forward with calm authority, carrying the wisdom the fire gave you. The waiting is over, your revealing begins now. There were seasons when the weight you carried felt unbearable. Nights when your chest felt tight from holding in pain no one else could see. You smiled in public, but your soul was silently screaming. You prayed and heard nothing back. You gave love, and it was returned with betrayal. You helped others rise while you sank lower. But even then, chosen one, heaven was watching. Every silent tear was a language God understood. Every breath you took under pressure was an act of faith. You were carrying more than your fair share. But it was not punishment, it was training. Heaven trusted you with weight because it was building your strength. You were not being crushed, you were being carved. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. You see, your brokenness didn't repel heaven, it attracted it. While others ran from your pain, God drew closer. He sat with you in silence. He wept with you in secret. And when you thought you were alone, you were surrounded by invisible arms holding you together. That's why you never truly fell apart, because divine hands were keeping your pieces from scattering. The heaviness you carried was holy. It refined your compassion and deepened your discernment. Pain opened your eyes to what comfort could never reveal. You learned how to recognize sincerity, how to sense deceit, how to see beyond appearances. You became spiritually sharp because the crushing made you sensitive to truth. You asked, "Why me, Lord?" But the real question was, why not you? You were chosen for a unique burden because your shoulders were designed to bear it, not because you were stronger than others, but because you were willing. Heaven does not choose the perfect, it chooses the surrendered. When the pressure intensified, your spirit stretched wider. Every heartbreak expanded your capacity for love. Every betrayal expanded your understanding of loyalty. Every disappointment deepened your hunger for authenticity. Pain taught you to see what fake smiles could not hide. It gave you X-ray vision for souls. Chosen one. Understand this: God never wastes a wound. The scar you carry is not shame, it's evidence of survival. It tells the world that you walked through fire and came out glowing. You are no longer fragile, you are forged. The same pain that once paralyzed you has now become your power. Heaven entrusted you with spiritual weight so that others might find healing through your endurance. That's why your voice carries authority, it's soaked in experience. When you speak, people feel something stir inside them. Because your words are born from fire, not theory. You're not just telling stories, you're transmitting survival codes. The enemy tried to convince you that your pain was proof of abandonment. But now you see it was evidence of preparation. You were being built for something that requires deep empathy and holy strength. Had you not suffered, you wouldn't understand the broken. Had you not wept, you wouldn't know how to comfort. You were not cursed, you were being certified. So now, lift your head. The season of carrying the unbearable is ending. You are stepping into ease not because life got lighter, but because your soul got stronger. You have been transformed from a wounded survivor into a divine warrior. The weight that once made you tremble now bows beneath your authority. What you carried in pain will become your platform of purpose. You'll speak, and others will heal. You'll walk, and others will follow. You'll breathe peace into rooms that once suffocated you. The fire did not consume you, it anointed you. You've become the evidence that endurance has a reward. You're no longer defined by what broke you. You're defined by who restored you. The past no longer pulls you down, it propels you forward. Heaven saw your strength when you saw only weakness, and now that hidden strength is rising to the surface. You are no longer carrying sorrow, you're carrying glory. Now, if this word reached your spirit, let it be sealed with a declaration. Type "I rise now" in the comments. Not as a slogan, but as a spiritual act signifying that you are done carrying what no longer belongs to you. It's your public declaration that the heaviness has lifted and resurrection power has taken its place. When you type "I rise now," you are not just writing words, you are declaring resurrection. You're telling every fear, every disappointment, every memory that tried to bury you, I choose life, I choose light, I choose forward. When you type "I rise now," heaven records it as agreement. It becomes a spiritual signature that says, I accept my calling. I embrace my healing. I refuse to live as the wounded one any longer. When you type "I rise now," your spirit aligns with destiny. You rise above shame, doubt, and delay. You rise into boldness, clarity, and peace. You rise because heaven has already whispered, your time has come. There were moments when you thought no one saw you. You walked through seasons where your efforts seemed invisible, your prayers unanswered, and your faith unnoticed. Yet through all those silent nights, heaven was not blind. Every breath, every step, every tear was recorded in eternity. Nothing you endured escaped the watchful eyes of the one who called you. While the world turned its back, heaven leaned in closer. When people misunderstood you, heaven understood completely. So when you felt unappreciated, heaven whispered, keep going, I'm watching. And when you nearly gave up, divine strength held your heart together. You thought your obedience went unseen, but it was seen by the only one whose acknowledgement truly matters. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. You didn't stumble into that verse. It's heaven's personal reminder to your soul. The plan has always existed. Even when you thought everything was falling apart, it was actually falling into place. You were never off course. You were on a divine timeline. Sometimes God hides his greatest treasures in the hardest seasons. He allows the spotlight to fade so your faith can grow in darkness. The applause of men can inflate, but the approval of heaven transforms. Every quiet season you endured built invisible strength, spiritual muscles that could not have formed under ease. There were days you woke up weary but still chose faith. You didn't know it, but that choice shook hell itself. Every time you whispered, "I still believe," chains broke in unseen realms. You were rewriting the legacy of endurance through every tear that fell on your pillow. Heaven saw how you kept serving when you were tired, how you kept giving when you had little, how you kept praying even when answers were delayed. The world might reward performance, but heaven rewards persistence. The divine record of your resilience is full, and now heaven prepares the unveiling of your reward. Chosen one, understand heaven's delay is never heaven's denial. God's silence doesn't mean he forgot you, it means he's preparing the right moment. Sometimes divine timing feels like divine hiding, but when the curtain lifts, everything will make sense. The season that felt wasted will reveal itself as your foundation. Even when your prayers seemed unanswered, heaven was collecting them like perfume in a bottle. Each cry became incense rising before the throne, and not a single one was ignored. When the appointed time comes, and it is coming, every stored-up prayer will return to you as favor overflowing. Heaven's awareness of you is deeper than you imagine. God saw the moment you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness. He saw the temptation you resisted in private. He saw the kindness you showed when no one thanked you. These moments became holy offerings, unseen by crowds but celebrated in heaven's courts. There's a reason you survived storms that broke others. You are marked by divine observation, watched over, guarded, and guided. Even when you walked through valleys shadowed by death, you were never alone. 1,000 unseen interventions surrounded you. 1,000 near disasters were quietly diverted because heaven decreed, "Not this one. This one is mine. Chosen one. Let this truth settle deep, you are fully known. Not the version you show the world, but the raw, honest, trembling version of you. Heaven doesn't need your perfection, it delights in your persistence. You don't need to prove yourself. You only need to stay positioned. The time of hidden faithfulness is reaching its completion. What was once invisible will soon be undeniable. Those who wondered if you'd make it will watch as heaven vindicates every moment you stayed true. The harvest is not just coming, it has begun. Heaven has seen the sacrifices you made, the tears you refused to let define you, and the nights you chose hope when despair seemed easier. These moments built an unshakable foundation, one that no wind of opposition can destroy. So breathe. Chosen one, rest in the knowing that heaven saw it all. The tears, the courage, the consistency, it was all counted. You have not labored in vain. The eyes of God have followed every step, and the same gaze that watched you endure will soon watch you rejoice. Heaven's record of you is not of defeat, but of endurance. Every hidden act of faith became a declaration in the spirit, "I trust you, even here." And because you did, the same God who watched you in silence is now ready to reward you in sight. Heaven's watch was never distant, it was intimate and constant. Every sigh became a sacred sound, every quiet act a ripple through eternity. You were seen, chosen, and marked, even when you thought no one noticed your faithfulness. Now the silence breaks, the unseen becomes visible. The record of your endurance turns into manifestation. You are stepping into days where heaven's acknowledgement becomes public favor, and what was once hidden will now shine brilliantly. The air around you is shifting. Chosen one. What once felt stuck is moving again. You can almost sense it, the quiet hum of change, the unseen rhythm of divine reversal. Everything that once worked against you is turning to work for you. Every loss is rearranging itself into restoration. Every closed door is about to swing open, not by force, but by divine favor. You may not see it yet, but heaven has already issued the order. The tables are turning. You're stepping into the part of your story where the plot twist happens, the moment when pain turns to purpose, waiting turns to winning, and mourning turns to dancing. What once seemed like the end was actually the beginning of your reward. The ancient words recorded in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, still echo today. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. That's heaven's promise to you. Nothing you lost is beyond recovery. God doesn't just return what was taken, He multiplies it. The years that felt wasted will bloom with unexpected fruit. The people who doubted you will see what endurance produces. What the enemy meant for harm will become a testimony so radiant that even your pain will bow to purpose. But before the unveiling, heaven asks one thing of you: stay tender. Don't let the journey harden your heart. Keep your spirit generous, your words gentle, and your faith steady. Because reversal is not only about what comes back to you, it's about who you've become while waiting. You are being trusted with influence, and influence carries weight. Chosen one, as you step into this new flow, remember that your voice matters. Your light has impact. When you like, share, or subscribe, you're not feeding an algorithm, you're lighting lanterns along someone else's dark road. Each action becomes a spark that travels farther than you imagine, carrying hope to a stranger who might be praying for a sign tonight. And if this message has poured peace into your heart, consider watering the same garden that watered your soul. Think of giving not as loss, but as rain returning to the sky that once gave it. Every donation, small or great, is a drop that keeps the river of encouragement flowing toward weary hearts. To donate here is not obligation, it's overflow. It's saying, I've received light, now I'll help it reach another window. Just as the candle loses nothing by sharing its flame, your generosity multiplies the glow. And if you can't give today, don't feel pressured. Heaven measures not by amount, but by intention. Sometimes the greatest contribution is still your presence. Share this message if it touched you. Each share is like releasing a dove carrying hope into another storm. This movement, the one you're part of, is more than words on a screen. It's a living river of restoration. Every act of engagement keeps that river moving, carrying light into forgotten corners. When you subscribe, you're not joining a channel, you're anchoring yourself in a current of faith that refuses to dry up. You are part of a holy exchange. You receive healing and, in return, become a healer. The beauty of divine reversal is that your restoration flows outward. The same God who restores you will use you as a vessel to restore others. Your support, your click, your share, your quiet donation, these are sacred seeds. They travel where you cannot go and bloom in hearts you may never meet. Heaven keeps the record of every act of kindness, every drop of light released from your hand. Chosen one, heaven is smiling on you. The same God who saw your silent years of giving will bless your public years of harvest. You are entering a time where restoration will overflow not just in things but in purpose, peace, and presence. And when the harvest arrives, you'll understand why every waiting season mattered. You'll look back and whisper, it was worth it. Because the reward isn't only what you receive, it's who you become in the process. So, if this message found you, pass it forward, like it, share it, subscribe to stay under the same flow of light, and if you feel led, donate like a raindrop returning thanks to the cloud that gave it. Keep your heart open, keep your light shining. Heaven is in motion, and the divine reversal has already begun. Every seed you sow through words, time, or giving joins a divine cycle. Nothing leaves your hand without entering heaven's circulation. The kindness you release today becomes tomorrow's rainfall, returning as favor in the exact moment you'll need it. You are not financing noise. You are fueling light. You are helping unseen hearts remember they are still chosen, still loved, still redeemable. Each act of generosity becomes a bridge where despair once built walls of silence. So give, not from pressure, but from peace. Share because light was never meant to be caged. Support because you believe in restoration's ripple. When heaven records your name, it will say, "This one kept the flame alive." The air this Christmas carries a different kind of stillness, holy, deliberate, full of divine alignment. It's not the silence of emptiness, but the quiet before manifestation. Heaven is arranging details too intricate for your eyes to see yet. You are standing in the middle of a sacred synchronization where divine timing meets earthly readiness. Everything that once felt scattered is finding its place. The people who left, the opportunities that slipped away, even the moments that seemed meaningless, all of it is aligning under heaven's order. The story that felt fragmented is becoming whole again. Every piece is being placed exactly where it belongs. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That verse is not distant truth, it's your current reality. Even what hurt you is being woven into goodness. What once delayed you is now propelling you. The divine alignment of this season is not random, it's precise, personal, prophetic. Chosen one, you are walking into a Christmas that carries purpose. The heavens are not decorating the sky with stars for beauty alone, they are marking direction. Every shimmering light above you is a divine signal saying, "Move forward, it's time." The same God who guided shepherds by starlight now guides you through discernment. This alignment means old cycles are closing. People who could not walk the next chapter with you are being gently moved aside, not as rejection, but as redirection. The divine current is separating the temporary from the eternal, the seasonal from the destined. Don't fight it, flow with it. The pruning is proof that purpose is near. Everything that once confused you will start to make sense. The unanswered prayers will reveal why they were delayed. What seemed like detours will expose themselves as shortcuts in disguise. Heaven was never behind schedule. It was waiting for your readiness to meet its promise. You've matured now. The battles that once broke you no longer move you. The tears that once blinded you now cleanse your sight. You've learned to trust the pause, to see silence as strategy. This Christmas alignment is the graduation moment of your faith. It's heaven's way of saying, you are ready. You may feel a holy stirring in your spirit lately, as if something unseen is shifting in your favor. That's because it is. Angels are being positioned, opportunities are aligning. What was once delayed is now being delivered. The weight is folding into fulfillment. Chosen one, your obedience has created a gravitational pull in the spirit. Heaven is attracted to hearts that stay faithful. Your surrender has synchronized with divine timing. This alignment is heaven's reward for endurance. You are stepping into the intersection where faith meets fulfillment. When you sense the stillness around you, don't mistake it for inactivity. It's heaven's breath before release. The Spirit is recalibrating your atmosphere, ensuring every blessing arrives in perfect order. You are not late, you are right on schedule for a miracle that fits your growth, not your old self. So this Christmas, stand still and watch alignment unfold. The right people will appear. The right doors will open. The right words will find you. Nothing forced, everything flowing. This is divine choreography, and you are its lead dancer, gracefully guided by unseen hands. And when it happens, when what you prayed for finally collides with what God promised, remember this: it wasn't luck. It was alignment. You were positioned all along. Now, as a prophetic act, comment the number 444 below. It represents divine order and angelic alignment. When you write it, you're declaring, I step into perfect timing. It's not superstition, it's symbolic agreement with heaven's rhythm. You've waited through chaos, now comes clarity. You've walked through confusion, now comes confirmation. Everything is converging not because you chased it, but because heaven called it to you. The alignment is not coming, it's already here. When you comment 444, you're not just typing digits, you're stepping into divine rhythm. You're declaring that your life now moves to heaven's pulse, that what once felt delayed is now divinely aligned. It's your yes to God's perfect order. When you write 444, you join the flow of divine architecture. You're saying, I trust the structure of heaven over my own plans. It's a quiet surrender that shifts everything: your timing, your emotions, your expectations back into holy alignment. Heaven recognizes that signal, and when you declare 444, you become an active participant in divine orchestration. You're telling heaven, I'm ready for synchronized blessings, ordered steps, and angelic movement in my direction. Each number becomes a key unlocking timing, clarity, and calm. It's your spiritual signature of alignment. Heaven hears the whisper in your numbers. Chosen one. Every 444 becomes an echo that rises beyond screens and sound, reaching the throne as a declaration of readiness and divine agreement. Stand firm in this rhythm. Let the alignment continue to unfold with grace. The same God who ordered the stars is now ordering your steps precisely, gently, gloriously in sync. There are movements in the unseen that would take your breath away if you could witness them. Right now, even as you read these words, messengers of heaven are in motion. Their wings stir winds of fulfillment. Their hands carry scrolls of answered prayers, and their voices echo your name in the courts of divine remembrance. The time of angelic assignment has come. You have walked through long seasons where you wondered if your prayers were reaching beyond the ceiling. You spoke faith through trembling lips, and silence seemed to be your only reply. But silence was never emptiness, it was orchestration. Heaven was dispatching help before you even realized you needed it. While you were waiting, reinforcements were being released. The prophet Daniel once prayed and waited for 21 days before his answer reached him. But the message had been sent the moment he began to pray. The same is true for you. Chosen one. What you thought was delay was divine coordination. The heavens have been busy arranging what belongs to you. According to what is revealed in the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 14. Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation? That truth is not poetic imagery, it's reality. Angels are not mythic, they are messengers. They move at the command of the Almighty, guided by His love for you. Some carry comfort, others carry opportunity, and still others guard the path ahead so that your steps remain unshaken. You've been walking among divine company without realizing it. Think of the countless times disaster almost touched you but didn't, the accident that never happened, the door you felt compelled not to enter, the sudden peace that settled your heart at the edge of despair. Those weren't coincidences. They were interventions. Heaven's agents have been stationed near you, not just observing but actively protecting and guiding. You were never walking alone. The ache of isolation may have been real, but the truth was deeper. You have always been surrounded. Angels stood beside your bed during sleepless nights. They walked behind you when you felt pursued by fear. They whispered courage when your voice failed. Their presence did not vanish when you stumbled. It strengthened when you called on the name that commands them. There are realms where prayers become assignments, and yours have been turning into action. Words whispered through tears have become blueprints in angelic hands. Even now, they are aligning people, opportunities, and resources for your next breakthrough. The things that once seemed delayed are being escorted into your life by unseen hands of grace. Chosen one, you are not forgotten, you are being served by heaven itself. The air around you hums with divine intention. You might not feel it, but your atmosphere is busy with obedience. Every obedient being in heaven recognizes the call placed upon your life. You are marked, and heaven honors that mark. Sometimes, angelic help doesn't come as bright light or visible wings. It comes as a sudden solution, a stranger's kindness, a miraculous timing that defies logic. It arrives as peace that cannot be explained, as provision that comes from nowhere, as protection that makes no sense except for the word grace. And even when the battles raged hardest, heaven did not stand still. There were fights fought on your behalf that you never had to see. When the enemy formed weapons, angels formed walls. When darkness advanced, heaven's armies pushed it back. You stood, unaware that invisible shields surrounded you. This is why you're still standing. The arrows that should have pierced you never reached your heart. The traps that should have caught you were dismantled before you arrived. The reason you survived isn't luck. It's divine strategy. Heaven had already written your survival into its story. You may not realize it, but you have already experienced miracles disguised as ordinary days. The angels on assignment have been writing testimonies through your routine, weaving grace into every corner of your existence. That's why you wake up with strength that doesn't make sense, why you keep going even when logic says stop. So breathe, chosen one. Let this awareness wash over you. You are covered, guarded, and guided. Your prayers have never traveled alone, they've always carried company. When you speak, heaven listens. When you move, heaven mobilizes. The unseen realm is not far away, it is near, active, and attentive. The angels who move now do not carry random messages, they carry your reward. They have been given orders to deliver restoration, to usher peace into your household, to strengthen your steps, and to make crooked paths straight before you. You are walking in divine company, and that is why you will not fail. When you feel the air shift, when peace suddenly settles over chaos, or when an unexpected answer arrives just in time, pause and recognize it. The invisible has moved. The holy has passed by. You have been visited. Heaven's army is not marching toward you, it is already beside you. And their mission is simple: to see you finish the journey that heaven began. There is a sound moving through the heavens right now, and it carries your name. It is not the sound of sorrow, not the echo of delay, but the rhythm of victory. The frequency around your life is shifting. What once sounded like mourning has become music. Heaven's celebration has begun even before your eyes have seen the full manifestation of the promise. Chosen one, your endurance has released a sound that only heaven can interpret. It's the sound of someone who refused to quit, who worshipped through disappointment, who held faith when everything else fell silent. Every prayer, every act of obedience, every tear shed in private, they have all gathered into one mighty note, and heaven is playing it as a song of triumph. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 16, verse 22. So with you now is your time of grief, but I will see you again and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. That's not a distant promise, it's a now word. The time of grief is ending. Heaven is tuning your life to the melody of restoration. Joy, once faint, is returning with force. It's not the shallow happiness that depends on circumstance. It's the deep, roaring joy of a soul that has overcome. Can you sense it? The spiritual atmosphere is changing key. What once felt heavy is starting to lift. You are moving from minor to major, from sorrow to celebration. The weight is dissolving because the sound of victory is louder than the echo of pain. This is not about everything suddenly becoming perfect. It's about the realization that you have already won. You've conquered fear. You've outlasted darkness. You've silenced doubt with faith. You are standing on the other side of trials that were designed to destroy you, and heaven celebrates that survival as a victory song. Every battle leaves behind a sound. The clash of opposition produces noise, but victory produces harmony. When you chose forgiveness instead of revenge, heaven heard the sound of freedom. When you chose peace instead of panic, heaven heard the rhythm of trust. When you praised in the storm, heaven called it a symphony. There's a reason you're feeling lighter lately. The warfare that surrounded you is losing volume. The chaos that used to echo in your mind is quieting. It's not because the world has changed, it's because your spirit has changed. You have tuned yourself to heaven's frequency, and the lower vibrations of fear no longer have access to you. Every victory, no matter how small, carries resonance. When you overcame that temptation, heaven recorded it as a trumpet. When you chose to keep believing after disappointment, heaven struck the drums of persistence. When you refused to curse your life during waiting, heaven's choir began to hum your name. Chosen one, your sound has reached heaven's throne. The celebration is not waiting for your breakthrough, it is welcoming it. You are walking in harmony with divine timing now, and the universe itself is responding. That sudden feeling of peace you can't explain. It's the echo of heaven's applause. This is the mystery of grace. It doesn't wait for perfection to celebrate you. Heaven rejoices the moment you stand back up, even if you're still trembling. The sound of victory is not the roar of the triumphant, it's the heartbeat of the resilient. It's heaven saying, look, they didn't give up. So when you sense that warmth inside, that quiet assurance that somehow everything is going to be okay, that's not imagination. That's music. It's the symphony of angels celebrating what you survived. It's heaven's reminder that your weeping may have lasted for a night, but joy has come in the morning. The sound of victory isn't loud to the world, it's steady to the spirit. It plays beneath your thoughts, hums behind your heartbeat, follows you through the day. It's not something you hear with your ears, it's something your soul recognizes as home. And soon, others will sense it too. They'll look at you and say, something about you feels lighter. They'll feel peace when you enter the room, not realizing they're standing near a soul that learned to turn pain into praise. You carry heaven's frequency now, and it cannot be silenced. This Christmas season, as lights shimmer and choirs sing, remember that the truest song of victory is the one playing inside you. It's not confined to church walls or special days, it's the ongoing melody of a redeemed life. The sound of heaven celebrating you. Listen closely. That sound will never fade, it will only grow stronger. Because you, chosen one, have already stepped into victory's rhythm. The song has begun, and it carries your name in every note. The sound of your victory travels beyond time. It echoes through generations, marking those who will follow you. Your endurance becomes their melody, your triumph their rhythm, your faith their invitation to rise again. Heaven's orchestra continues to play your name in radiant harmony. Every step you take becomes another note of praise. The music doesn't end here, it follows you into every new beginning. Confirmation is coming. Chosen one, Heaven does not speak in riddles, it speaks in patterns, in timing, in undeniable signs. You are entering the part of your journey where what you've been sensing in your spirit will begin to manifest in the natural. Things that once seemed coincidental will suddenly feel connected. Whispers from prayer will start echoing through daily life. You will begin to notice divine fingerprints on everything. You've prayed for clarity, and heaven has heard you now. Clarity is approaching not as a loud announcement, but as alignment that feels too precise to ignore. You'll see repeated numbers. Meet people with divine timing, hear phrases that seem to answer your private questions. None of it will be random. The same God who spoke through burning bushes and whispering winds still speaks today through signs, through peace, through patterns, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 21. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." That is what this season will sound like, a quiet voice behind you, guiding your every move. No more guessing, no more confusion. Every step you take will be confirmed. Every door that opens will feel undeniably divine. Heaven is not playing hide and seek with your destiny, it is revealing it piece by piece. When signs appear in threes, remember this moment. It will be heaven's way of sealing what has already been spoken. The first will catch your attention, the second will stir your faith, and the third will settle your spirit. The number 3 carries divine completion. Father, Son, and Spirit working in harmony. So when those confirmations come, don't second guess them. Receive them as heaven's personal reassurance you are on the right path. You've spent seasons wondering if you were hearing God or your own thoughts. This time, you will know. The peace that follows will be your evidence. Confusion may mimic clarity, but peace never lies. Wherever the Spirit leads, peace will remain. If your heart feels settled, walk boldly. If unease lingers, wait. Delay is protection, not punishment. You will notice it soon, a familiar peace settling before decisions. A knowing that doesn't come from logic, but from alignment. This is what it means to walk with heaven's rhythm. You no longer chase signs, they follow you. You no longer beg for proof, it appears naturally, like dawn following night. Chosen one, you are stepping into prophetic precision. Heaven will begin confirming your prayers through visible events. You'll encounter people who unknowingly speak the exact words you prayed. You'll see symbols, numbers, and moments that feel like gentle winks from above. Don't brush them off, they're not coincidences, they're coordinates. Heaven is mapping your way forward. And when the signs come, stay humble. Confirmation is not for pride, it's for peace. God doesn't reveal to impress you, He reveals to steady you. Each sign is a reminder that you're not walking blind, you're walking guided. Sometimes the signs will comfort, sometimes they will correct. But all of them will lead to growth. Heaven doesn't just confirm direction, it corrects deviation. If a door closes after you've prayed for guidance, it's still an answer, it's just saying, not this one. This next season will be marked by divine reassurance. The noise of uncertainty will quiet, and direction will become clear. You will no longer chase validation because heaven itself will validate you. Your faith will grow roots in confidence, not confusion. So when it happens, when heaven aligns circumstances so perfectly that even your logic bows, take a breath and whisper, "I hear you, Lord." That acknowledgement keeps the channel open. Now, as a prophetic declaration of recognition, comment "I see it" below. You're not typing words, you're testifying agreement. It means, I recognize the signs. I acknowledge heaven's voice. I will walk in awareness, not doubt. Let the signs speak. Let your spirit recognize what your eyes cannot explain. The confirmations are not on their way, they are already unfolding around you. Heaven has spoken, and you are beginning to see. When you comment, "I see it," you are declaring awareness. You're telling heaven, "I am no longer blind to your movements." It's not about sight with eyes, it's sight with spirit. Recognition of divine fingerprints in ordinary moments. When you write, "I see it," you are agreeing with heaven's order. You're saying, "I no longer call coincidence what is clearly coordination." That phrase becomes a seal of understanding, a quiet act of worship through awareness. Heaven calls that maturity. And when you proclaim, "I see it," you shift from waiting for miracles to walking within them. You begin noticing God in details, timing, and even pauses. You stop doubting, because now you discern. Heaven smiles when recognition replaces fear. It means your vision has awakened. And as your vision awakens, everything changes. The ordinary becomes sacred, timing turns holy, and even silence speaks. You don't just witness miracles anymore, you live inside them, fully aware and aligned. You've reached the turning point, chosen one. The waiting that once felt endless is now unfolding into reality. The air around you carries the scent of answered prayers. What you once only envisioned in faith is preparing to stand before you in form. This is not imagination, this is manifestation. Heaven is finally unveiling the reward for your endurance. For so long, you prayed in whispers. You planted seeds with tears, and it felt like nothing would grow. But this moment is the bloom of those unseen seeds. The roots have reached depth, and now the petals begin to unfold. What you sowed in private will rise in public beauty. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This chosen one is your proper time. The harvest is not distant, it's here. Heaven does not forget faithful hands. Every act of kindness, every choice to stay pure when compromise looked easier, every prayer whispered through trembling lips, it all counted. You are now walking into what heaven has prepared all along. The reward won't just be visible in what you receive, but in who you've become. You are not the same soul that once doubted whether God still heard you. You've grown. You've learned to trust without evidence, to praise without proof, to love without condition. That growth is the greatest part of your reward. Now, as your blessing begins to take form, remember this light multiplies when it's shared. The victory that reaches your hands today is meant to ripple outward to comfort others, to restore faith, to keep hope alive in weary hearts. So if this message has spoken to you, like it, share it, and subscribe not out of habit, but as an act of spreading light. Every click becomes a candle passed forward, a spark that travels from one soul to another. Someone may be scrolling in despair tonight, waiting for the same comfort that once found you. Your share might be the answer to their silent prayer. And as for giving, let it come from love, not duty. If you feel peace stirring in your heart, consider donating like a gardener who waters a tree that once gave them shade. It's not payment, it's participation. Every drop you pour returns as new blossoms in lives you'll never meet, but will still touch through kindness. Think of generosity as music. It's not forced, it flows. Some notes are soft, some loud, but together they create harmony. Your giving is one note in heaven's song of restoration. When done with joy, it becomes melody. And if you can't give financially, don't feel lesser. Your voice, your prayers, your willingness to share and support these are currencies of heaven too. The kingdom counts love, not numbers. Every gesture born of compassion moves the same angels that guard over your blessings. Remember, this is not a request, it's an invitation. Like sunlight inviting a flower to open, it's gentle and voluntary. When you give, share, or speak hope, you're simply saying, I want this light to keep shining. You are not funding words, you are fueling transformation. Every message you help sustain is another torch lifted in the dark. You become part of something living, a stream of restoration that never dries. Heaven keeps record of all things done from the heart. The smallest act of love echoes louder than grand gestures born of pride. You are part of a sacred chain reaction, one beam of light connecting countless others. So, chosen one, when you like, it's your way of saying, I receive this truth. When you share, you declare, I pass it on. When you subscribe, you whisper, I'll stay connected to the flow that strengthens me. And when you donate, you release a fragrance of gratitude into the atmosphere, one that heaven never ignores. All of it, when done from sincerity, becomes worship. The giving of time, attention, encouragement, or resources all flow back into your life as grace multiplied. Heaven never lets generosity return empty-handed. Your breakthrough is not meant to stop with you, it's designed to spread through you. The same way rivers don't drink their own water, your blessings are meant to nourish others. That's the cycle of divine abundance, receiving to release, being filled to overflow. You're standing at the doorway of a new chapter, and the key to opening it is gratitude. Gratitude for what was, gratitude for what is, and gratitude for what's still coming. Let every act, every share, every gift be your thank you note to heaven. And as you move forward, know this: you are walking into visible reward. Yes, but also into deeper responsibility. You are becoming a light bearer, a bridge for others. The very story that broke you is about to bless multitudes. So, as heaven unveils your long-awaited harvest, remember you are both the receiver and the messenger of this miracle. Like, share, subscribe, or give as you feel led, not out of pressure, but as an act of beauty, gratitude, and participation in divine flow. You are part of something eternal now, and heaven calls it reward fulfilled. There will come a moment, chosen one, when those who once laughed at your faith will stand silent. The same mouths that spoke doubt will whisper awe. Those who labeled you as too spiritual, too hopeful, or too naive will have no choice but to see that heaven was on your side all along. This is not revenge, it's revelation. You are about to sit at the table that God Himself prepared in the presence of those who misunderstood you. Heaven never humiliates, it vindicates. What looked like defeat was only divine disguise. You weren't losing, you were being positioned. You weren't being punished, you were being preserved. Sometimes, God hides victory inside vulnerability so the proud cannot claim it. What they mocked in you, heaven was maturing in secret. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. That verse was not a poetic line, it was a prophecy for souls like yours. You didn't fight back when you could have. You didn't retaliate when you were falsely accused. You stood still while others threw stones. And in that stillness, heaven began to fight battles you couldn't see. There's a unique beauty in divine defense. When God steps in, He doesn't just clear your name, He crowns it. He allows those who misunderstood your silence to witness the strength behind it. The very people who questioned your faith will one day come seeking the peace you carry. And when they do, your response won't be bitterness. It will be blessing. Chosen one, you must understand vindication is not about proving others wrong, it's about proving that grace was right. God's justice is never loud or cruel, it's gentle and undeniable. It humbles without humiliating, lifts without boasting, and restores without revenge. Heaven is not in the business of embarrassing your enemies, it is in the art of enlightening them. Those who doubted you served a purpose too. Their rejection became your redirection. Their disbelief drove you closer to God. Every time they dismissed you, you learned to find validation in divine approval. What felt like abandonment was actually liberation. You were being freed from needing their applause. This season of vindication is not about payback, it's about perspective. God wants them to see what faith looks like when it refuses to quit. He wants your story to be a mirror that reflects His mercy. When they see you thriving, they won't say, "Look what they did." They'll say, "Surely God was with them." You see, vindication isn't about being seen by people, it's about revealing the unseen hand that carried you. It's about light returning to where mockery once lived. When you forgive those who hurt you, you give heaven permission to finish the story. You close the chapter of pain and open the chapter of power. Every insult became soil. Every rumor became fertilizer. Every rejection watered the seed of your purpose. What they threw at you to break you only helped you grow deeper roots. And now, those roots are breaking through the surface, blooming into visible grace. The same mouths that gossiped will speak good of you, not because you demanded it, but because truth always rises. Chosen one, when the tables turn, stay kind. Humility is your crown. Don't gloat, glow. Don't retaliate, radiate. The best testimony is quiet strength. You won't need to say, "I told you so." Your peace will say it for you. Your calm will speak louder than any argument. Your consistency will be your greatest defense. God's justice doesn't operate on human timelines. It moves when the heart is ready, not when the ego is. And now that your heart is healed, vindication can finally arrive without bitterness attached. Heaven's justice tastes sweetest when it's free of resentment. When others see you rise, some will wonder how you managed to keep faith through what you faced. Smile and tell them, "I didn't keep faith, faith kept me." That answer alone will preach louder than sermons. Remember this, beloved, those who mocked your faith were never your enemies, they were your mirrors, showing you where you still sought validation outside of God. You don't owe them an apology or an explanation. You owe them forgiveness. That's the mark of the chosen. And when you forgive, you release yourself into freedom. You make room for joy to dwell where bitterness once lived. You become a living sermon of mercy, proof that light wins without shouting. The same grace that covered your silence will now crown your story. Every misunderstanding becomes a backdrop for revelation. Every moment of ridicule becomes evidence of endurance. Heaven is not giving you payback, it's giving you perspective, honor, and peace. When vindication arrives, walk softly. Let the victory speak. Let the glory remain God's. Because this is not about your name being cleared, it's about His name being exalted through yours. And in that sacred stillness, you will finally understand why silence was the strongest weapon you ever wielded. The time of restoration has begun. Chosen one. Heaven has been gathering the fragments of your life, the broken pieces you thought were lost forever, and is now weaving them back together with threads of glory. Every tear, every trial, every season of loss, none of it was wasted. What the enemy dismantled, heaven is rebuilding. What was stolen is returning multiplied. This is not partial restoration, it is total renewal. The kind that doesn't just return what was taken but enhances it. You are about to see relationships mended, opportunities revived, and doors that once slammed shut now standing open. Heaven specializes in reversals that make sense only in hindsight. According to what is written in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 26, you will have plenty to eat until you are full, and you will praise the name of the Lord your God, who has worked wonders for you. Never again will my people be shamed. That is your promise. No more shame, no more scarcity, and no more silent suffering. The same mouth that cried will now sing. The same hands that were empty will overflow. The same heart that broke will now beat with joy again. Chosen one. Heaven does not restore halfway. When God moves, He does it completely. The places that once hurt will become the sources of your greatest wisdom. The cracks in your heart will now shine with the gold of divine mending. Your life is becoming a masterpiece of mercy. This restoration is not just external, it's internal. Peace is returning first. You'll feel it before you see it. The anxiety that once ruled your nights will lose its voice. The doubts that used to whisper in your ear will go silent. The heaviness will lift, replaced by a calm that feels like coming home. You'll begin to see evidence of restoration in waves. The first wave brings peace. The second wave brings provision. The third brings purpose. What felt disconnected will start flowing again. People you lost touch with will resurface, not all, but the ones connected to your divine future. Some doors will reopen, others will stay closed, not as rejection, but as protection. This is the beauty of divine restoration, it's selective. Heaven returns only what still carries destiny. What was toxic will stay gone. What was meant for you will come back renewed. Nothing that truly belongs to you can be lost when God restores. And while restoration is happening around you, remember that it's also happening in you. You're not the same soul who started this journey. You've matured, softened, deepened. Your compassion has expanded. Your wisdom has sharpened. You are becoming the kind of person who can hold blessing without breaking under it. You might even notice new joy rising inside for no reason. That's not random, that's your spirit recognizing what's coming. Heaven often sends the feeling of joy before the evidence of blessing. So you can learn to rejoice by faith, not sight. Chosen one, you are standing in the middle of divine repair. The carpenter of heaven has entered your story. What he builds never collapses. What he restores can never again be stolen. You will no longer live in survival mode, you will live in overflow. And this Christmas season will be the marker of that shift. You'll look back and say, that was when everything started coming back together. Because heaven always chooses sacred timing to unveil restoration. Now, as a prophetic act of agreement, comment the number 1212 below. It represents divine structure being rebuilt, heavenly order restored, and a double portion of peace descending upon your life. When you type it, you are saying, Heaven, I align myself with divine rebuilding. I receive not only what was lost, but the upgraded version of what is meant for me. 1212 is a mirror of balance and creation. It symbolizes heaven and earth working together, God's order meeting your obedience. It is a reminder that restoration is not random, it's precise. The same hands that formed galaxies are now restructuring your world. Restoration is already unfolding, even in ways you can't see yet. You don't have to chase it, it's finding you. Heaven remembers what you lost, and God is faithful to return every good thing, right on time. You are not entering restoration, you're living in it. And the story that once broke your heart will soon bless countless others. When you comment 1212, you're not typing digits, you're opening doors. You're declaring, Heaven, I'm ready for divine rebuilding. It's your act of faith that says, I agree with the order you are restoring in my life. When you write 1212, you're inviting heavenly architecture to redesign your foundations. It means you no longer chase what's gone, you trust what's coming. Each 12 mirrors balance God's plan meeting your obedience. Spirit aligning with season, purpose, meeting peace. When you proclaim 12:12, heaven marks your readiness. You're saying, I receive my completion, my structure, my stability. Restoration becomes rhythm, not event. From this moment forward, your life beats in divine alignment. There is celebration in heaven. Chosen one. Not a quiet nod of approval, but a full chorus of rejoicing, a sound so radiant that if your heart could hear it clearly, but it would fall to its knees. The angels rejoice because you did not give up when the weight was unbearable. They sing because you stayed faithful when silence was loudest. They dance because your obedience has reached its fulfillment. Every time you chose faith over fear, heaven applauded. Every moment you loved when you could have hated, heaven rose to its feet. You didn't see it, but the unseen realm responded to every act of trust. Your persistence became heaven's anthem. The word of God declares in the book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 10, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Now imagine, chosen one, if heaven celebrates one moment of repentance, how great the celebration must be over years of endurance, over every tear that became prayer, every trial that became testimony, every heartbreak that became holy ground. Heaven has watched you grow through storms, and now the heavens resound with your victory. This celebration is not because you are perfect, it's because you are persistent. You fell, but you rose. You doubted, but you prayed. You trembled, but you moved forward anyway. That kind of faith shakes realms. That kind of endurance stirs heaven's joy. There's a sound that follows the chosen. It's not always loud, but it's constant. It's the hum of grace surrounding your name, the melody of destiny aligning itself with your steps. You carry the fragrance of victory wherever you go, even if you can't yet smell it yourself. Heaven's celebration over you isn't a single moment, it's a continuous song. It started when you first said yes to your calling and hasn't stopped since. Angels have been assigned to your path not just to protect you, but to celebrate your journey. You are the living evidence of God's faithfulness, and heaven never stops rejoicing over evidence of divine promise kept. Look at how far you've come. Look at the places that once broke you and see how they now serve as proof of your strength. The very situations that tried to destroy you have become testimonies of endurance. Every wound you carry glows with the light of lessons learned. Heaven doesn't see scars as damage, it sees them as declarations. This one made it. The celebration around your name isn't just in heaven, it's starting to echo in the world. You'll notice people drawn to your peace, comforted by your presence. They won't always know why, but it's because heaven's joy radiates through you. You are carrying light strong enough to shift atmospheres. Chosen one. Heaven's rejoicing is not background noise, it's momentum. Every hallelujah sung above your life becomes energy propelling you forward. That's why you suddenly find courage where there was none, strength where you once felt empty. You are walking in a current of divine applause, and this is only the beginning. The celebration isn't just for what you've endured, it's for what you are about to release. Heaven knows what's coming, the words you will speak, the lives you will touch, the hope you will ignite. The same endurance that kept you alive will now give life to others. You have become a living song of grace. Your steps form rhythm, your laughter becomes melody, and your story turns into lyrics heaven hums over the earth. Every time you smile again after pain, heaven adds another instrument to the music. When you enter rooms now, You carry atmosphere. You bring calm where there was chaos, faith where there was doubt, hope where there was fear. This is what heaven's celebration feels like on earth. It moves through you, soft but strong, quiet but undeniable. Heaven's joy is contagious. Those around you will begin to feel it. They'll be drawn not to your perfection, but to your peace. They'll find comfort in your resilience. And through you, they'll remember that hope is still alive. You've become a walking reminder that grace wins every single time. This is what heaven's celebration creates: ripples of transformation. Your obedience sends light outward. Every word you speak with love becomes a spark that ignites another flame. Without realizing it, you are now part of heaven's symphony, a melody of mercy echoing through humanity. So rest tonight knowing this truth: heaven is not silent about your story. Trumpets have sounded, songs have risen, and joy floods the throne because of your endurance. You may not hear the music yet, but your soul already dances to it. And when you feel sudden peace in the middle of chaos, that's heaven's applause brushing against your spirit, whispering, "Well done, faithful one. Keep shining." You are heaven's melody on earth, a living hymn of endurance. Every breath you take is part of the song. Keep walking. Keep glowing. Heaven's celebration continues wherever your footsteps fall. There is a shift taking place. Chosen one, not in the distance, but within you. You have moved from waiting for favor to becoming favor itself. The glow upon your life is not coincidence, it is evidence. You are walking proof that divine grace can dwell in human form. You've endured your valley, climbed your mountain, and now stand in the radiance of fulfillment. You are crowned not by man's applause, but by heaven's recognition. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 3. You will be a crown of splendor in the Lord's hand, a royal diadem in the hand of your God. You are no longer waiting to be crowned, you already wear it. The battles, the waiting, the breaking, all were part of your coronation. Every wound became a jewel, every scar a symbol of authority. Heaven didn't give you a crown made of gold, it gave you one forged in endurance, compassion, and unwavering faith. Chosen one, you are no longer chasing light, you are light. You illuminate what once seemed hopeless. You carry a presence that disrupts despair without even speaking. The radiance upon you isn't surface level, it's spiritual. It's what happens when divine fire meets a surrendered heart. This season of crowning isn't about recognition, it's about revelation. You are stepping into the awareness of who you've always been. The waiting didn't create your worth, it revealed it. God didn't give you new value. He uncovered what was hidden beneath layers of pain and fear. The crown was always there, waiting for you to remember it. You've become the kind of person darkness fears, not because of arrogance, but because of purity. Your light exposes lies without effort. It comforts others without words. You've learned to stand tall not by force, but by faith. Your humility makes your glow even stronger. For light born from brokenness shines differently. It's warmer, deeper, more alive. Every time you forgave when bitterness called your name, your crown grew brighter. Every moment you chose truth over convenience, heaven added another gem. Every time you blessed those who wronged you, heaven polished the gold around your name. The process was painful, yes, but it was also prophetic. You were being shaped into royalty of spirit. This crown doesn't make you superior, it makes you responsible. You carry weight now, the sacred responsibility of hope. Wherever you walk, people will feel peace follow. It's not charisma, it's consecration. You are marked, not for self-display, but for divine representation. You are heaven's ambassador wrapped in human skin. Do you feel it? The quiet confidence that's begun to settle in your heart. It's not pride, it's remembrance. You're remembering who sent you, who sustained you, who crowned you. This is what spiritual maturity feels like: peace that doesn't shout, assurance that doesn't need proof, joy that doesn't depend on outcome. The crown you carry is not for decoration, it's for dominion. It gives you authority over the atmosphere, over fear, over every whisper of doubt. When you walk into a room, the unseen recognizes you. Demons remember your endurance. Angels honor your obedience. You have earned this spiritual rank not through striving, but through surrender. Chosen one, this is not about outward glory, it's about inward transformation. You no longer need validation from others because heaven already validated you. The applause of men fades, but the acknowledgement of God reverberates through eternity. The one who once questioned their worth now walks in quiet majesty. Your crown carries memory. It remembers every midnight prayer, every tear that fell unseen, every breath you took when quitting would have been easier. It holds the record of your perseverance. When you touch your chest and feel peace resting there, that's your crown's weight, a reminder that you wear victory, not victimhood. You'll notice that people start responding to you differently now. Some will be drawn to your calm. Others will be unsettled by it. That's because true light confronts both comfort and shadow. Don't dim yourself to make others feel safe. Your glow is guidance, not arrogance. You are not here to impress, you are here to illuminate. Your steps now carry rhythm. Your presence carries message. You don't need to announce what's changed, heaven already has. The world will simply see and know something divine rests upon you. That quiet dignity you carry is the evidence of your anointing. And when challenges arise, and they will remember, crowns are not for comfort, but for conquest. You wear yours not to rest, but to reign. Not over others, but over fear, over chaos, over anything that tries to dim your divine glow. This crown is eternal. It cannot tarnish, cannot fall, cannot fade. It's anchored in identity, not circumstance. As long as you walk in obedience, it shines brighter with every act of love and truth. So, walk tall, crowned soul. Let your posture speak peace. Let your kindness reveal your royalty. Let your words carry the weight of heaven's authority. You are not trying to become chosen, you are living as one. This Christmas, remember the light above the manger was not just for one child, it was for every chosen heart to remember its crown. And now, that same light rests upon you. There are moments in history when one person's victory becomes the spark that awakens thousands. This is such a moment. Chosen one. What you've conquered in silence is about to shake the sleeping hearts of others. Your breakthrough isn't just yours, it's a signal. A sound wave of freedom rippling through the earth. Heaven is using your story to stir revival. You are the spark in the storm. The whisper that reminds others. Hope still breathes here. The apostle wrote in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Your testimony carries power because it was written in fire. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You learned to turn pain into poetry, to build altars where others built excuses. And now, heaven says, let your light speak. When you share what God has done, you release oxygen into someone else's flame. Your words become wings for weary souls. You may think it's a small act, pressing a button, sharing a message, but in heaven's eyes, it's seed sowing. Every like, every share, every quiet word of agreement becomes a candle passed forward, lighting corridors where others still walk in shadow. There's beauty in participation. When you comment what touched your heart, it's like carving your initials into eternity's tree. Your words join a living archive of hope, a record of lives touched by divine love. The stories we share here become the threads of a great tapestry, woven not by fame but by faith. And when you subscribe, don't see it as following a channel. See it as joining a circle of light. It's standing shoulder to shoulder with souls across the world who refuse to let darkness have the final word. You're saying, I'll stay close to this current of peace. I'll help keep the fire alive. Chosen one. If you ever feel led to donate, think of it not as giving away but as pouring perfume on an altar. In ancient days, people brought oil to the temple not to pay for God's presence, but to keep the flame burning. That's what your generosity does. It keeps the light alive for another weary traveler who hasn't yet found their way home. There's no pressure here. The invitation is gentle, like a breeze through open doors. Heaven never demands, it whispers. Giving is not a condition of belonging. It's a celebration of having been found. Whether you pour out a prayer, a kind word, a share, or a seed, heaven calls it holy. This movement, this growing river of souls, is not about one voice, it's about many hearts flowing together. Every action you take, liking, sharing, subscribing, or giving, is another drop in the river, widening its reach, deepening its sound. And when the river touches dry ground, it revives it, lives change. Hope breathes again. Your small gestures echo in eternity. Heaven has always used simple things: a shepherd's sling, a widow's coin, a child's lunch to change the course of destiny. What feels small to you becomes mighty in the hands of God. So let every click be a quiet prayer. Let every share be a seed of hope. Let every word of encouragement in the comments be a stone placed on heaven's altar. Together, we're building something invisible yet eternal, a cathedral of light where weary hearts find rest. Chosen one, your participation is worship. Not because heaven needs your hand, but because your heart loves to give. Love always creates, always multiplies, always flows outward. When you act from love, even the smallest gesture becomes sacred. If this message stirred something in you, breathe it forward. Like it as a gentle amen. Share it as a ripple of peace. Comment your thoughts as a way of saying, I'm still listening, still believing. And donate only if your spirit feels the melody of giving, like a soft hum that says, I want to help this light keep glowing. You're not following a page, you're joining a movement of renewal. This isn't about content, it's about connection. This is where digital space becomes sacred space, where screens turn into sanctuaries, where words become warmth. Every like is a spark, every share a ripple, every comment a seed, every subscription a hand joined in prayer, and every donation a quiet echo of gratitude. Together, they form one unbroken circle of light that keeps the message alive. Heaven is smiling on those who carry the flame forward. You're one of them now, a torchbearer in a world growing dim, walking gently, glowing quietly, leading others home without even realizing it. So keep your light burning, Kabokui. Keep your love flowing. Let every act, every share, every seed remind the world that heaven still writes stories through human hands. And if this message finds a resting place in your soul, let your actions, no matter how small, be your yes to heaven's call. Because every yes adds another spark to the symphony of light that never goes out. There comes a moment when you stop chasing tomorrow and realize you have stepped into it. That's where you are now, chosen one. You are no longer waiting for the promise. You are walking within it. The season that once felt distant has drawn near, and the sunrise you prayed for has quietly arrived. You have entered the path of promise, where each step glows with divine timing. This is what fulfillment feels like, not fireworks or noise, but peace that hums beneath your skin. It's the steady awareness that the God who began the work has not only continued it, but completed it. The waiting no longer feels heavy because you now understand it was never wasted. Every pause prepared the pace you now walk in. As it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 23. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Each step you take now is guided, measured, and blessed. Even the ground beneath you recognizes your assignment. The paths that were once rough are smoothing beneath your feet, not because the world changed, but because your spirit has aligned with heaven's direction. You are walking in rhythm with divine design. Look back for a moment, not in regret, but in reverence. Can you see how every detour was actually direction? How every closed door protected you from premature arrival? The broken roads you once cursed have become proof of heaven's navigation. Nothing was random. Even the pain had purpose. The people who left were not rejection, they were release. The doors that shut were not punishment, they were protection. Every redirection was mercy in motion. The journey wasn't about getting to the destination faster, it was about becoming the version of yourself who could dwell there without losing peace. Chosen one. Walking in promise doesn't mean there will be no more challenges. It means challenges will no longer break you. The storms that once terrified you now only strengthen your resolve. The fears that once silenced you now bow to your authority. You've learned to walk through chaos with calm, to speak peace into uncertainty, to rest even when winds roar. You've stepped into the maturity of faith, the kind that doesn't need proof to trust. You no longer ask, will God come through? You simply know He already has. You no longer need signs. You carry assurance. That's what spiritual adulthood feels like, quiet power clothed in grace. Your steps now are sacred choreography. Heaven has gone ahead of you, clearing the path of unseen obstacles, preparing encounters that will confirm your next direction. You don't have to force alignment. You are alignment. Every person you meet, every opportunity that crosses your path, every door that opens, it all matches your new frequency. The promise doesn't shout, it unfolds. It's not a destination you stumble into, it's a rhythm you recognize. Sometimes it looks ordinary, a conversation, a connection, a moment of clarity. But beneath those simple moments lies divine orchestration. You are not walking alone. You are walking accompanied by unseen guidance that never fails. When you wake each morning, you'll notice subtle changes. The air feels lighter. Ideas come easier. Peace follows you like a loyal friend. These are signs of divine timing at work. You are now in sync with heaven's heartbeat. You don't chase, you attract. You don't strive, you flow. There will still be moments of testing, but they will feel different now. You won't see them as attacks, but as adjustments, fine-tuning for greater accuracy. Heaven is teaching you to walk not by sight, but by rhythm. The rhythm of grace, the cadence of purpose. You will feel it in your conversations, words flowing with clarity, guided by compassion. You'll notice it in your decisions, less hesitation, more trust. You'll sense it in your relationships. Peace replacing performance. Presence replacing pressure. This is what it means to walk in divine promise, stability without stagnation, movement without panic. Chosen one. This is not the end of your story, it's the establishment of it. You are now walking in the chapter heaven wrote before you were born. The ink has dried, the page has turned, and your footsteps are the punctuation of fulfillment. You are walking proof that promises delayed are not promises denied. You've become the evidence that divine timing is real. Every step now echoes eternity, whispering, "This was always meant to be. Walk softly, but walk boldly." The ground beneath you has been waiting for your arrival. Every promise attached to your name is now unfolding not in chaos but in peace. You are no longer trying to arrive. You have arrived. And yet this is not a finish line, it's a beginning. Promise is not a destination, it's a new dimension of living. It's waking up daily knowing heaven is in partnership with your every breath. Chosen one, keep walking. The light before you will not fade, it will only grow. For the one who ordered your steps has already gone ahead to prepare the path. And this sacred walk is the proof that faith fulfilled is not a miracle to witness, but a life to live. You have reached the still point. Chosen one, the space where striving ends and serenity begins. The battles behind you no longer define you, and the uncertainty ahead no longer frightens you. You are resting in the arms of fulfillment, in the sacred balance between what has been promised and what has already been delivered. This is the eternal gift, the moment when you realize that the greatest reward was never what you waited for, but who you waited with. The apostle wrote in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 5, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." That verse has become your reality. You have learned that success without the source is just noise. You have discovered that intimacy with God is the secret heartbeat of all joy, the quiet miracle that sustains everything else. The reward this Christmas isn't something placed in your hands, it's the peace now residing in your soul. You see, heaven's greatest gift has never been material, it has always been relational. The miracle was not the opening of doors, but the deepening of connection. Every delay that once frustrated you was actually God's invitation to draw closer, to let roots grow where impatience once reigned. The waiting trained your heart to love presence more than progress. Now, as you stand beneath heaven's open sky, you understand what it all meant. The victories, the losses, the unanswered prayers, they were all instruments in a grand symphony, tuning your spirit to hear his voice more clearly. What you call fulfillment, heaven calls communion. What you once thought was about achievement was always about alignment. You were never chasing things, you were being drawn into union. The Father's intention was not to decorate your life with blessings, but to dwell within it as peace. You have become his dwelling place, a walking sanctuary, a living echo of his faithfulness. Every breath you take now is worship, every step a silent hallelujah. The world may not understand this kind of reward. They measure success by accumulation, but heaven measures it by awareness. You've entered the stage where gratitude replaces ambition and rest replaces racing. This is not stagnation, it's sanctification. The pace of grace is slower, but it's eternal. Chosen one, what you carry now cannot be stolen. The intimacy you've built with the divine cannot be undone by circumstance. You've learned to hear his whispers in wind, to see his fingerprints in daily life. You've learned that miracles don't always come wrapped in brilliance, they often come disguised as breath, as laughter, as stillness. You no longer need constant signs because you've become one. Your peace speaks louder than any sermon. Your resilience preaches louder than any platform. You have become the evidence that God still walks with humanity, that the eternal still loves the fragile. Every scar now glows with the mercy that healed it. Every past mistake has been woven into purpose. The tapestry of your story, once tangled and torn, now gleams with divine pattern. You are no longer trying to fix what broke, you are simply beholding what was made beautiful in time. This is the eternal gift to find that you lack nothing. To realize that everything you once sought outside has been within all along: courage, faith, love, peace. Heaven didn't just send blessings, it planted divinity in your chest. You are the evidence that God breathes through dust and calls it holy. There will be new seasons. Yes, new dreams, new chapters, but none will carry the ache of striving. You will walk with quiet confidence, not because you control the path, but because you trust the guide. Every sunrise will feel like a continuation of grace, not a race for progress. And when storms come again, and they will, you will not panic. You'll remember the one who calmed waves within you long before he calmed them around you. You'll rest through thunder because peace no longer depends on the weather, it depends on presence. Chosen one. This is the crown beneath the crown, the intimacy that outlasts achievement, the companionship that outlives circumstance. The eternal gift is not found under trees or in blessings, but in the quiet revelation that you and heaven are no longer separate. This Christmas, you are not waiting for Emmanuel. He already dwells within you. You are not hoping for peace, you have become its vessel. You are not seeking the light, you are shining it. And from this still, sacred place, may your every breath echo the truth: he was with you all along. You now walk as living proof that love endures every winter. Your soul carries spring wherever it goes. The same presence that sustained you will forever bloom through your words and kindness. So rest, radiant one. Let peace guide your tomorrows. The eternal gift is already yours, God within, hope unbroken, light unending. You are home in his heartbeat. Beloved chosen one, if this message found you, it wasn't by chance. You have walked through the 17 parts of this journey not as a listener, but as a living participant in a divine unfolding. Every word, every pause, every heartbeat along the way was heaven whispering, I still see you. This space we've built together is more than a collection of messages, it's a sanctuary, a gentle light in a restless world. When you like this message, it's more than a click, it's an echo, a soft amen that tells heaven you're still in agreement with the light. When you share, it's like passing a candle down a dark hallway. You never know whose trembling hands will catch that flame and find warmth again. Someone somewhere is still praying for the very comfort you just received. You could be the one to deliver it. And when you comment, your words become part of this living tapestry. Every sentence, every emoji, every whisper of gratitude weaves another thread into a global chorus of faith. Write what stirs your spirit, let your voice join the quiet music that heaven hears through screens and souls alike. If your heart feels led to subscribe, see it not as following a channel, but as anchoring yourself in a steady current of peace. It's a promise to stay connected to the same rhythm that once lifted you from despair. And if you ever choose to donate, let it come from the overflow of gratitude, not obligation. Think of it as watering the tree that gave you shade, a sacred way of saying, let this light continue for someone else. Every act, small or great, becomes part of heaven's record of kindness. You are now both a receiver and a bearer of light. Carry it forward, the chosen one, keep the flame alive.